having this commemoration next year, the 400 years of the first Africans, do you have any hope that this is going to help our nation come together in greater unity and understanding of our history and loving, being able to come together as a people?
As a white woman from the South, the answer is yes. We need to come together. And the white people that I have been able to speak with, and they have grasped what I am telling them, they're very receptive, and it needs to happen. America needs to come together, and this is something I believe, because there's lots and lots of white people that descend from these first Africans that have no clue, and once they learn this, they'll be able to grasp and hold on to something too that's very important, because it was these first Africans that saved Virginia, and that is such a monumental task that they overcame from the early 1600s, and their heritage has been disregarded for too long. And it's time that hopefully they'll come together with the 1619 commemoration, when we can disclose how many that we all descend from the same people.
I want to answer that slightly different, and I agree 100% what Kathryn just said. As a former educator, I'm really concerned about our kids. I'm concerned about the next generation. I want to make sure that when young kids hear statements such as, why do we want somebody from Africa to come here because they come from a shithole country? Those kids, it makes them feel like they're less important, that they're not the same as someone else, and it can be nothing that's any further than the truth. It was our ancestors that helped build the country. It was our ancestors who were the real pioneers that expanded civilization westward. It was our ancestors who looked at the issues of equality, looked at the issues of liberty, looked at the issues of freedom, and decided to fight for those very things that our United States Constitution was built upon. And that's why they did that. It is important as we move forward that everyone goes through this process of trying to find out who their ancestors were and the role we took within this country, because we have to stand back and begin to change the image of who we are, because that's the beginning of changing our self-importance. It's important that we not look at ourselves as less than, but the true equality, if not greater than, because of the contributions that we made. And we have all of these young kids who, when they sit in the classroom and issues of slavery in Africa are taught, they're made to feel at the very beginning of their learning process less than, and we've got to change that, particularly if we're going to change society, as Kathryn talked about.
How do you respond to the irony of the first Africans? They have African American descendants and they have white descendants. I mean, like, what do you get from that? Or what's the lesson? Is there a lesson for America from that?
Well, to me, as an adult, when I looked at the Statue of Liberty and what it stands for, we are the melting pot of America. When you talk about the strength of America and how it brought all of these diverse people together, and that's what binds us, that's what makes us stronger, that's who we are. So it doesn't surprise me that we as African descendants come from all of these different people, because that's the melting pot of America, and that's what holds us all together.
What do you say, K.I.?
I say ditto. It's time that we all come together and we acknowledge, especially as Europeans, we have to acknowledge the contributions that the African society gave. It's high time that it happens.
And this is a perfect example, because Kathryn and I did not know each other. We both came to this process very, very differently. I, as an African American man, a black man from the North, she is a woman from the South, to take this same journey and now to sit here side by side as distant cousins from the same African roots is an indication that it's time that we begin to do this and embrace it.
Yeah, and now myself,
And now you.
as an African American woman whose roots are definitely embedded in slavery,
Yeah.
and I'm related to her husband, probably to her, probably to you. We just haven't, done
Right.
the numbers yet.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Free
It is.
people, white people, enslaved
That's right.
person,
Yeah.
and we're all the children of
right.
that same group of 20 and odd Africans.
That's right.
Couldn't have said it any better.
That's right.
That's amazing. That's God's amazing grace. That's all I